So how do you improve your chip shots around the green? You need to make sure that you have, first of all, a really good, simple, basic technique. But chip shots are different. Sometimes your ball's nestled in the rough and you need to get it out of that rough. Sometimes you need a higher shot that floats and lands softly on the green. Sometimes you need a chip and run. What do you change in your technique to make those shots happen consistently? In this video, I'm going to show you, first of all, a real basic technique that works every time. But I'm also going to show you how you alter it slightly to create a whole variety of different shots to make you a really great chipper. I'm even going to bring in one of my live lessons to show you how he played. It's an amazing, beautiful backspin shot at the end of the video. But before I do, look, if you're new to the channel, so your first lessons of mine, please consider subscribing. I release videos like this every single week to try and help you improve your game. Plus, as always, you never have to remember a thing. I'll always put a free downloadable practice guide in the description box below. Okay, so this is the basic chip shot. I'm going to take you through the entire process of what I take my students through every single time they start struggling with their chip shots. The first thing I do is I want them to create a consistent strike. So I look at their setup and I ask myself, are they coordinating the arms, club, and body together on the way through? Most of the time, if you are struggling with your strike, the chances are you've got your knees going, your arms are moving over here, there's some yippiness going on, right? I want to get rid of all of that really simply in step number one. So we start with a great setup. Now that looks like this. Ball position is just ahead of center. My stance width is just, look, a club width apart. Now, this is really important. For a basic shot, I want you to be almost putting, what we call putting with loft. So I get myself into a putting stance where I get the club nice and vertical so the heel of that club is off the ground. I get in nice and close here, I let my arms relax down. The shaft is just slightly forward. It's not neutral, it's slightly forward here. My shoulders, very, very important, are fairly level. A lot of times when people are chipping to start with, they've got too much excessive trail shoulder down. This creates fats and thins. So I get myself very, very level. Simple way to achieve this would be to put my lead hand below my trail hand, then I grip it, almost like a putting action, just like this. My weight is favoring my front foot just slightly, and then really, this is the paramount thing. Once you've done that, once you've kind of got that sensation, come and have a look at this. I want you, on the basic chip shot here, to get this bit hitting the ground, bruising the ground. Not this bit, or this front bit for now, just this bit for a basic chip shot. So I'm making some swings where I'm feeling the base of the club bruising the ground. No, that would be the front of the club. This would be, look, the back of the club. I'm getting the base of the club. But as I'm doing this, remember I said putting. I'm looking at my players and I'm saying, are you coordinating this just like putting? So notice how, as I'm swinging here, my hands, arms moving, my body's moving slightly here, and it's going with the club. I'm not independently using my wrists, I'm not independently using my arms. Everything, look, is just putting, working on a simple arc, backwards and forwards. As I center the golf ball, making sure my club is clean, all I'm gonna do is make a very simple, look, putting action. And see how that ball pops up beautifully in the air and almost into the hole. Now I'm using a 56-degree sand wedge, but you don't need to. I just want to show you, if you use the club correctly, that ball will beautifully pop up with no effort whatsoever with simple putting stroke. Now, what you could do, if you wanted, you might feel like, oh, that's a bit scary, landing it all the way there. So what you could do instead is grab yourself maybe a pitching wedge or something with slightly less loft and land it much closer onto the front of the green. And this time it'll add more roll to the ball. So no change in setup whatsoever. Get myself into the putting stance, heel slightly off the ground, make some swings, feeling the base of the club, bruising the ground, and I'm making sure that my body's lovely and coordinated. I'm not stopping like this. I'm moving that body beautifully through. And you'll see here, look at the difference in the roll there. That pitching wedge is rolled up a little bit more. It's not landing and stopping, yeah? So that is the basic chip. It's so simple, isn't it? So once you've got that and you're starting to coordinate the body, we can now move on to some slightly tougher shots around the green. So here's a typical place where many of my students get unstuck. Here we have a perfect lie, just off the fairway. But look, boom. Now what's happened? It's nestled down, look, into kind of an indentation. If you use the same technique that you've used off the fairway, this is risking a fat or at worst, a real thin over the back of the green. You need to make some alterations. And where we use, look, the middle section of this golf club, what we're now gonna do when the ball's nestled down a little bit, we're now gonna use the front part of this golf club to strike that ball first. We don't want any ground interaction behind that golf ball. And the way we do this, really simply, look at this. I'm now moving the ball, so now it's gone from just ahead of center now to my back of my stance. Simple, right? I'm gonna put the club behind the golf ball. I'm now gonna move the shaft so it's now pointing just at my armpit here. This is getting, look, the front edge, front part of that club now on the ground. I'm gonna do the same thing as we did before. All I'm gonna do from here, look, is make a putting motion without changing anything, keeping that body lovely and coordinated. I'm not actively gonna try and hit down on it. I've already achieved that in setup. And it looks something like this. And this should release a little bit more because it's coming out of that hole. But again, super simple from a very quite difficult little shot there with just a simple change in setup and using putt with loft. Suddenly what we've created is a very, very consistent technique. So we cut that last scene short, an army of greenkeepers came upon us. But I want to show you this shot. This is a real typical one. Ball's nestled down here, no green to work with. You've got to get height. What changes do you now need to make? Well, super simple. We started in a putting situation here where the shaft's very vertical. We're going to gradually now move it a bit closer to us. This is one way you add loft to your clubs, by the way. The other thing we're going to do, we're going to move the ball position right off our front heel now. Okay, and we're still going to keep that beautiful coordination of the body going backwards and forwards. That's really important. But now what we're going to do, we're going to add some wrists to this. And the wrists are going to add loft. This is important. They're going to add loft, but they're also going to add a slightly steeper angle attack into this shot. Now the way we do this is this. We're going to add the loft in there. So it's just a small little hinge here with both the lead hand and the trail hand. There, I've just added, look, loft. This would be incorrect. I'm just adding loft. That gives me the motion. Then all I'm going to do is let the club beautifully flow and drop it back down to where it came from, look, and then pick up the motion. And the idea here is that what you're doing is we've used the base of the club, we've used the front part of the club, and now what you're doing, you're using the back of the club to really loft this ball up in the air. So we start from a putting stance. We're going to get slightly further away. We're going to keep the ball further forward in our stance here. We're going to add the loft of the golf club here, and then we're going to get the sense that the back of the club is just dropping on that ball. So go to the ball here, nice and relaxed. Pop it out there, look, and hey presto, ball pops up within a couple of feet. Super, super simple. So I'm going to show you now, bring you in on a very, very quick lesson with Carlos, who is really struggling with this beautiful lofted shot. I'm sure you're going to love it. The matter? So what I want you to do here is this. I don't want you to try and get it up in the air. Okay. Your job is simply this. You've already got the club that's going to get it up in the air. Okay. Your job is to see if you can bring that club back down. The same place. So right at the same place, right underneath that golf ball. And when it comes down here, look, I mean, I like to use from this one here, I might use a bit of the fish's tail here, look. Get the fish's tail working, and then look at my body. I finish it off, I'll show you here. So back here, back. And throw comfortably, look, over the bag. Yeah, it should be a very straightforward shot. There's no grass underneath the golf ball, it's just purely about your ability to bring that club back to the base of the ball. Okay. Okay?
So help me God.
Just like that. So did that ball go over the bunker?
No.
So it's gone high, but what stopped it going over the bunker?
That I was beneath the ball.
Well, let's pause. Did you strike it?
No.
Did the ball go high?
Yes.
Yes. Did it get enough height to go over the bunker?
Yes.
Yes. So what was lacking?
Just a longer
power.
Power.
That's it.
Yes.
So if you go in the bunker now, a lot of people go, oh, you know, the technique's good, they're bad, it's going in the bunker. Well, the reality is you just need to swing longer.
Okay.
Or, what's the other way of getting extra distance?
Swing longer or
have less loft.
Less loft.
Yeah. So your choice. So if you want to deliver, so I believe there you delivered more loft onto the ball than I did. So you delivered there. I probably delivered about 60. You delivered you were probably about here.
Okay.
And therefore the ball went a little bit higher and landed softer.
Okay.
Now with that, if you want to do that impact, no problem, but you've got to swing a lot longer.
Okay. Okay.
If you want to swing shorter and still get it over the bunker, you've got to have more of this impact where there's now less loft.
Okay.
So you hit higher in the ball's going to go further.
Okay.
Okay. So you can choose which you want to do, a longer swing or less loft.
That is a typical Slovodsky shot.
Yeah. Brilliant, right? So you said that's a typical shot, isn't it? Right?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. So here's the thing. What I want you to do on this one now is this. When you're here, okay, that one there was very much rushed, right? It's very short. On this one here, just swing even longer. I want to see this club coming up here.
Okay.
Because what you'll do is you'll be able to just let it go. When it's short,
Okay.
you have to force it.
Okay.
Yeah? So let's swing on this next one. Just swing back for me.
Yes.
Okay, pause there. That's it. I want to get up here.
Okay.
Nice and high. Because then you've got the energy, look, just to let it drop back down again.
Okay.
And you're returning it, look. You're back here, you just return it back to there, look.
Okay.
There you go. And then from here, look, off you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So the club's going to swing longer here, and then you simply return it back to where it started with the loft and the club. And away you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Lovely. That already looks 1,000 times better. There you go. There we go. Makes sense?
Yes, makes sense. A lot of sense.
Right? There we go. Go on, go in the hole. Go in the hole. Oh!
Amazing.
How's that feel?
Amazing. I would never dare to do that
Why?
because I would think that with such a long, I'm going to put the ball in the forest because I don't have the trust that I'm going to go beneath. Well, everything you have explained, no?
Yeah. Yeah, and you do. You do. And at the end of the day, you've got loft in your hand. It's not going to go very far if you hit beneath the ball.
Yes.
Yeah, you're doing a really good job of that. And your shots going over the bag here were brilliant. They just weren't long enough.
Yes.
Yeah. So I hope this is going to help your chip shots around the green. If you'd love to see or learn how to play bunker shots too, check this video out right here. Of course, if you enjoyed this one, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend. And if you're new to the channel, press that subscribe button and the bell. I'll put a free download practice guide in the description box below. Until next week, have a wonderful golfing week.